Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, Mataji.
Dandavat Mataji.
Naga Patni Mataji should have joined us. Let me see where she is. Today we are going to continue hearing on the topic, very important topic of gratitude. Yes, here she is. I can see her. Hare Krishna, Naga Patni Prabhu. Welcome back. You have to unmute yourself so that we can hear you. Okay, we welcome all the devotees who are with us today. More devotees from Noida have joined us. And we have all our Bhakti Shastri and from the VIHC. We have Dakshina Vrajagopi from Canada.
Wow.
Some people are on the different time zones, and some of them are doing a little austerity, early morning, late nights. So please start, Nagapatni, and enlighten us, enliven us on this wonderful topic of gratitude, which without the gratitude, actually, as a devotee, we cannot really function properly. Because our life, everything in our life depends on the Lord and depends on His mercy, and we need to acknowledge that. And gratitude means to acknowledge our dependence. So it's a most important topic. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhanadhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhadari Yasodanandana Gaja Janarandana Yasodanandana Gaja Janarandana Shamuna Tira Vanachari Shamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhanadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhanadhari Yasodanandana Braja Janarandana Yasodanandana Braja Janarandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnu Paramahansa Pavakacharya Sacharya Satashi Shiman, His Divine Loving Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnu Paramahansa Pavakacharya Sacharya Satashi Shiman, His Divine Loving Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Gaur Vaishnava Ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki. Amshakho Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopina Samakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vinda Vinda Ki Maya Purdam Ki. Shrimati Tulsi Devi Ki. Shrimati Bhakti Devi Ki. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki. All glories is devotees, all glories is some devotees, all glories is some devotees, all glories to Guru and Garanga, glories to Shri Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Chame Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Bajani Nirvishesha Sunyari Asatya Dasitani Om Agnatimirandasya Jana Salakaya Jaksun Militanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakadanmayam Dananti Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Varakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishika Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namosate O Mahavananaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tushe Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for inviting me back again this week. I thought today we would focus on devotees who have shown gratitude in different situations, because gratitude is so much a part of our process. It's as much a part as humility. It's as much a part as faith. And it's as much a part as the devotion and love that goes into our service. But gratitude's definitely very much a part of the foundation that makes a devotee. So if we take a look at the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 29. Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dvesosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite teshu japyaham. And Krishna says, he says, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I a friend to him. All things they do. This is Krishna's mercy, is that he reciprocates with the devotee in kind. So however a person, not just a devotee, but whoever reciprocates with Krishna, he reciprocates back in that way. So we see with the demons how he reciprocates. So equally, he reciprocates with the devotee. And this is really a hard concept for a materialistic minded person to understand. And it's hard to see why be a devotee, because they see the devotees don't have much. They're not interested in material things, and they don't even get anything much from Krishna. And so they would just as soon worship Durga or Shiva, where it's easy to get material benedictions. And so when we look at the lives of devotees, and we'll start with the Pandavas. The Pandavas are amazing personalities to begin with. They had incredible abilities because they were half demigod to begin with, besides the fact that they were pure devotees. And their lives were not easy. At a very young age, they were orphaned from their father died, and their mother, who was also a great devotee, Queen Kunti, the sister of Vasudeva, the father of Krishna. She's Krishna's aunt. Great personality. And they had, starting at a very young age, a hard life. As soon as they walked into the courtyard of the Kurus, immediately all this envy came directed towards them. The Kurus could see that they were not ordinary personalities. They had great qualities, great character, and it showed in their physical presence. And even at a young age, they tried to poison Bhima with a cake and then throw him into a poisonous snake-filled area of the Ganges, trying to kill him. What a horrible thing to do for children to actually think of doing. It's even in this age, it's not a common thing, not even uncommon. It's just really horrific. And it didn't stop there. Actually, Bhima got more powerful. So it was a blessing for him. And that's how Krishna's blessings sometimes come, in disguise as horrific activity. And but it wasn't just several years later that the Kurus, headed by evil Duryodhana, tried to burn the 5 Pandavas and their saintly mother in a palace made of lac. What endeavor that was to build that palace and to coerce them there. Of course, Krishna saved them. But he didn't give them an easy life, right? They went on to live life as mendicants, as in the forest, beggared as brahmanas, and they were kshatriyas, so it went against their natures. And soon, due to Krishna's arrangement, Draupadi joined him. And Draupadi, what an amazing personality. Not born in an ordinary life. She was born out of a fire, a sacrificial fire, with all good qualities, and so exquisitely beautiful that any man who saw her immediately wanted her as his wife. So when she joined the Pandavas as their wife, she was then the object of the crew's envy. And so this went on to the point where they offended her in such a grievous way, such a horrible way, by sending Dushasana to her private quarters to drag her out by the hair, which was recently sanctified by the waters of the Rajasura, into this assembly of men, which no other woman was attending, and which she had no business or wanted to be attending, and was not dressed properly for attendance, only to try to humiliate her more and more in such a degraded way. And of course, Krishna saved him again. But it didn't stop there. Even after they were banished to the forest for 13 years to live a very austere and difficult life, Duryodhana, any opportunity he got to give them difficulty, he did. That one time that Durvasa Muni came, and Durvasa Muni, who is a powerful, powerful sage, he's very powerful. He can even fly up to Vishnu's planet. He can do so many things, but he's also got a bit of a short temper. So he's easily pleased and easily displeased. And if he's displeased, it can be he can retaliate with a very difficult curse. So he came to Hastinapur, to the court of Duryodhana. And Duryodhana was very smart the way he handled him. And he made sure that he was pleased in every possible way, expecting a benediction, in which he was offered a benediction by Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni offered, what would you like? And Duryodhana, oh, nothing for me. But perhaps you could visit my cousins. They're in the forest with their wife, and they would really appreciate saintly association. And he told them right when to go, and even told them the time they would go, which was sure to be the time after the Pandavas had all taken their meals. See, Draupadi had a special pot, and this pot would serve whoever came to be served prasadam. It was really a great blessing for them. But once Draupadi took her prasadam, the pot was depleted. There was nothing more. So Durvasa Muni shows up at the camp of the Pandavas, and you can imagine Draupadi was probably Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And they went to take their bath, thinking they were going to come back and take prasadam. And Draupadi, all of a sudden, Krishna appears, and he says, "Do you have any prasadam?" And Draupadi's like, "I'm so sorry. We've all eaten. I've eaten. There's nothing left." He says, "Let me see this pot." So he takes his pot, and he just takes his finger and takes the smallest little smidgen and tastes it. And immediately, Durvasa Muni and the hundreds of people he's traveling with, because he never traveled with just a few or even by himself. He traveled with hundreds of followers. And so all of them became so full, they could not even think of eating anything again. So they were all embarrassed, especially Durvasa Muni. So he just sent a messenger to tell the Pandavas that they were going on in their journey. So Krishna again saved the Pandavas, saved Draupadi. It's one thing. These Pandavas went through so much difficulty, so many challenges, such a hard life. But they were Kshatriyas, right? Kshatriyas love a good fight. They love killing Rakshasas and demons and standing up for justice. But Queen Kunti and Draupadi, they were queens. They were used to a life of comfort and privilege. They were honored women. So what they went through was exceptional, and how they went through it was exceptional. In the Mahabharata, Draupadi, she told Krishna, she says, my dear Govinda, your promise is that your devotee can never be vanquished. I believe in that statement, and therefore in all kinds of tribulations, I simply remember you and your promise, and thus I live. She lived in gratitude. Draupadi lived in gratitude. Queen Kunti lived in gratitude. Excuse me. Where's my Bhagavatam? I want to. And Queen Kunti's prayers are glorified in the Srimad Bhagavatam. They're beautiful prayers. Srila Prabhupada in 1971 in LA, he did a series of lectures on the prayers of Queen Kunti. And they made a book out of it. It's called Prayers of Queen Kunti. It's very, very sweet, very beautiful. So I'm just going to read a couple of these verses because it's a beautiful long chapter. And so Queen Kunti has realized that she probably won't see Krishna again this lifetime. So he's leaving Hastinapur. He actually just saved Uttara from the Brahmastra weapon of Ashvatthama. And so Queen Kunti is going and to say goodbye and to express her gratitude. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotion unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. O Hrishikesh, master of the senses and lord of lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisonous cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashvatthama. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated birth and death. And who does that? Who, after horrific, something that's horrible has happened, wish to go through it again and again? This is a really great devotee. This devotee is showing a great amount of humility, a great amount of faith, and a great amount of devotion. Oh Krishna, those who constantly hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities, or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. And lastly, O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your powers never deteriorate. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distress of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic power, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God. I offer you my respectful obeisances. So these prayers are simply amazing. Demonstration of her gratitude. And the gratitude is felt by a whole family. She expresses it so eloquently and so beautifully. Another personality I wanted to just take a small look at is Prahlad. Because Prahlad, again, these prayers are exceptional. And even Lord Chaitanya and Gadadhar, this is what they studied. When they studied the Srimad Bhagavatam, they studied the section on Prahlad in his prayers. But Prahlad, when we look at this, it's just so amazing. He's a 5-year-old little boy. But he was a reservoir of all transcendental qualities because he was an unalloyed pure devotee of Krishna. So his qualities were immense. He was completely cultured as a young Brahmin. He had good character. He was determined to understand the absolute truth. He was in full control of his senses and his mind. He was kind to every living entity. He was like a best friend to everyone. To respectable persons, he acted as a menial servant. To the poor, he acted like a father. To his equals, he was attached like a sympathetic brother. He considered his teachers, spiritual masters, and older god brothers to be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was completely free of unnatural pride that might have arisen from his good education, his aristocracy, his beauty, and so on. He was not an asura. He was born in a great line of asuras, but he was a great devotee. He was never envious and never agitated. He was not interested in material association. He was completely in control of his senses and life air, and he was steady in his intelligence and determination to subdue lusty desires. So he's cited in so many examples as an excellent example of a very wonderful devotee, very exalted in so many ways. And usually a mother and a father are affectionate towards their young children. And so it's interesting that one time when he was dressed and had just been bathed and dressed and presented to his father, and his father took him on his lap and started to be affectionate to him and started asking him, well, so what have you learned? And Prahlad, in his innocence and his sincerity and his purity, started to explain the 9 processes of devotional service to Hiranyakasipu. And this, it caused this huge reaction from Hiranyakasipu, so much so that he ordered the death of his innocent little 5-year-old son. Again, such a horrific, simple thing. So he sent him to these horrible, ugly demons who tried to poke his sweet, soft little body with horrible objects. And then they tried to throw him under the feet of elephants. They tried to throw him in a pit of snakes and to poison him. And when that didn't work, they tried to starve him. And then they tried to expose him to severe cold and heat and water and wind and fire. They threw him off a cliff. So in so many ways, he was protected by Krishna. And so then, thinking that maybe they could redeem him back and maybe make him a terrible demon, he was sent to this school with all the other children of the demons. And they tried to educate him with mundane teachings of religion and economic development and politics and so many things. And so when the teachers left, Prahlad Maharaj, he was such a beautiful devotee and so sweet. And actually, when you read about this, you think about the nature of Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada was so attracted like this that even though we were all coming from demoniac backgrounds, we couldn't help but go and listen to him and try and learn from him. So in the same way, the students there went and they were learning how to be devotees from Prahlad Maharaj and how to glorify the Lord. So these prayers, these famous prayers of Prahlad Maharaj of gratitude, I will just read a couple of those because they're very significant. Prahlad Maharaj prayed, this is after Lord Nrsingadev killed Hiranyakasipu. Nobody could deal, they were so frightened. Everybody, the demigods, even the goddess of fortune refused to go near Lord Nrsingadev. She said, he doesn't look like my husband. My husband doesn't act that way. She was so ferocious and so fierce. Everybody was terrified. So out of something needed to be done. So Lord Brahma sends this little 5-year-old boy up to pacify Lord Nrsingadev. And so Prahlad starts saying these prayers. Prahlad Maharaj prayed, how is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words. Also, such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness. Then what is to be said of me? I am not qualified. His humility. Therefore, although I was born in a demoniac family, I may, without a doubt, offer prayers to the Lord with full endeavor, as far as my intelligence allows. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified of material life if he offers prayers to the Lord and hears the Lord's glories. O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your lordship, who are situated in a transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakasipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. O my Lord, O Supreme, because I was born in a family full of hellish material qualities of passion and ignorance, what is my position? And what is to be said of your causeless mercy, which was never offered even to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, or even the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi? You never put your lotus hand upon their heads, but you have put it upon mine. It's such simple things that devotees can be grateful for. Prahlad Maharaj said, oh, my dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because I was born in an atheistic family, I am naturally attracted to material enjoyment. Therefore, kindly do not tempt me with these illusions. I am very much afraid of material conditions, and I desire to be liberated from the materialistic life. It is for this reason that I have taken shelter. So Lord Nrsingadev is actually pressuring Prahlad, please take something, takes a benediction. He wants to give him something. And Prahlad is like, oh, no, nothing for me. I don't want to be distracted from my devotion from you. And this is so sweet, because then finally Prahlad wants to please the Lord. So he says to the Lord, he says, oh, my Lord, best of the givers of benedictions, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your lordship that within the core of my heart, there is no material desire. And then he goes on to ask for the liberation of his father, who tortured him. So he had never had any resentment, anything. When there's gratitude, complete gratitude in the heart, there's no room for these material emotions and qualifications. All glories to Prahlad Maharaj. And then there's one other great personality I want to bring attention to, and that's our beloved Srila Prabhupada. Because Srila Prabhupada, in so many ways, his whole life was a demonstration to his gratitude to his spiritual master. And from his writings, the sweetest part of his writings are the ones from his heart. glorifying his spiritual master. And so I just wanted to read a little bit of that, if you will bear with me. This is a poem that he wrote on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance day in 1938. Adore, adore ye all the happy day, blessed than heaven, sweeter than May. When he appeared at Puri, that holy place, my Lord and Master, his divine grace. O my Master, the evangelic angel, give us thy light, light up thy candle. Struggle for existence, a human race, the only hope, his divine grace. Misled we are, all going astray. Save us, Lord, our fervent prayer. Wonder thy ways, to turn our face, adore thy feet, your divine grace. Forgotten Krishna, we fallen souls, praying most heavy, the illusions toll. Darkness around, all untraced, the only hope is divine grace. Message of service thou hast brought, a healthful life as Chaitanya wrought. Unknown to all, is full of grace. That's your gift, your divine grace. And this was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's favorite stanza from the poem. Absolute is sentient, thou hast proven. Impersonal calamity thou hast moved. This gives us a life, anew and fresh. Worship thy feet, your divine grace. Had you not come, who had told the message of Krishna, forceful and bold? That's your right, you have the mace. Save me a fallen, your divine grace. The line of service as drawn by you is pleasing and healthy, like morning dew. The oldest of all, but in new dress, miracle done, your divine grace. So this is such a beautiful poem that he actually wrote in English in the early part of his devotional life. And he went on to write other things. There was another one that he wrote that is so sweet. It's about his life in Vrindavan after he had given up his family, and Prabhupada was so poor at this time. He had very little. And many people who were there and saw him, that he was living a complete mendicant life, so humbly. I'm sitting alone in Vrindavan Dham. In this mood, I am getting many realizations. I have my wife, sons, daughters, grandsons, everything, but I have no money, so they are a fruitless glory. Krishna has shown me the naked form of material nature. By his strength, it has all become tasteless to me today. Yes, yatam anugranami hirishe tadaman sanai. I gratefully take away all the wealth of those upon whom I am merciful. And this is the point at which materialist people cannot appreciate Krishna. They don't want to be devotees because he takes everything away. But the devotee is grateful for Krishna taking anything away that interferes with their devotional service, even if the devotee doesn't understand how this is interfering with my devotional service. Please take it. How was I able to understand this mercy of the all-merciful? Everyone has abandoned me, seen me penniless. Wife, relatives, friends, brothers, everyone. This is misery, but it gives me a laugh. I sit alone and laugh. In this Maya's samsara, whom do I really love? Where have my loving father and mother gone now? And where are all my elders who were my own folk? Who will give me news of them? Tell me who. All that is left of this family life is a list of names. As the froth on the seawater mixes again in the sea, Maya Samsara's play is just like that. No one is mother or father or personal relative. Just like the sea foam, they remain but a short time. Just as the froth on seawater mixes again with the sea, the body made of 5 elements meets with destruction. How many bodies does the embodied soul take in this way? His relatives are all related merely to the temporal body. But everyone is your relative, brother on the spiritual platform. This relationship is not tinged with the smell of Maya. The Supreme Lord is the soul of everyone. In relation to him, everyone in the universe is the same. All your relatives, brother, all the billions of jivas, when seen in relation to Krishna, they are all in harmony. Forgetting Krishna, the jiva desires sense gratification, and as a result, he is firmly grasped by Maya. And there's just one more beautiful poem that Prabhupada wrote. He had just arrived in Boston, and he went through the immigration with all his papers, and then he went on to New York. So this is a poem he wrote after getting a glimpse of the United States and probably being inundated with the materialism that is there. My dear Lord Krishna, if we can just remember this type of mentality, and in all conditions our lives become perfected. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion. Absorbed in material life, they think themselves very happy and satisfied, and therefore they have no taste for transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it. You can imagine, he was just like, how am I ever going to preach to these people? But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mystic. But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mystic. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? Oh Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. All living entities have come under the control of the illusory energy by your will, and therefore, if you like, your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation, and if a sober person repeatedly receives it with submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is practically destroyed, and loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. At the time loving service is established in the heart, the modes of passion and ignorance and lust and desires disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes happy. Thus established in the mode of goodness, the man rejuvenated by loving service unto the Lord gains liberation from material association, mukti, and comes to know scientifically the personality of Godhead. Thus the knots of the heart and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions, karma, is terminated when one sees the self as master. He will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion, and thus all inauspicious things accumulated in the core of the heart will disappear. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and most fallen. Therefore, I am seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. Somehow or other, O my Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me success or failure as you like. O spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel gladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. Oh Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hand. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance, oh Lord, make me dance as you like. I have no devotion nor I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So this beautiful prayers by Srila Prabhupada, they show continuously over and over again Prabhupada's gratitude towards his spiritual master and gratitude towards Krishna. His whole life was based on that gratitude. So we have so much to learn from the acharyas, from these great saintly souls who lived lives in gratitude. They lived lives in gratitude. They lived lives in their faith to Krishna, even though so many different challenges and terrible things came to them. And they did it with humility, and most important, with love. So this is an example for all of us, and appreciation for this gratitude. When there's gratitude, there's not room for negativity. There's not room for materialistic negativity in the heart, if we can live it with a sense of gratitude. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I guess we'll end there. If anybody would like to make a comment, please do. Unmute yourself and make a comment.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, and thank you so much for this wonderful session. I would want to know how we can develop this quality in ourselves. What would you suggest, Mataji?
I think it starts little. I think it's we just look at we have to be introverted or introspective, and start looking around at I was speaking to someone the other day, and she was saying, I'm not in the mood to be grateful right now. And then just by thinking a little bit of some little thing, she started to become grateful. And she said, wow, I'm being grateful. So there's so much we have as devotees to be grateful for. So much. Everywhere we turn, we can find gratitude. We're grateful for association with each other. We're grateful for all the books that Srila Prabhupada gave us. We're grateful for this process in itself, the holy name, which we can take shelter of at any time, any place, any circumstances. So there's no lack of something to find to be grateful for. It just takes a little bit of thinking about on our part, little effort. And that's basically what Krishna consciousness comes down to, is a little effort on our part. And then there's so much help from everyone else in the whole disciplic succession. Thank you for your question. It's a good question.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. One thing I realized, Mataji, from hearing all those poems and you talking about gratitude, is that very often we face so many raw deals in life that we are so resentful of the problem in itself that we forget the gratitude. You know, we forget that we forget that so many things actually helping us with the problem that Krishna is actually giving us. We don't see that, you know. So I think that for me, especially, I think I've got to shift my vision from the problem to actually, you know, the things that surround me that are helping me to get through the problem. And the other thing is also, I think I personally should be more grateful that, Prabhupada has given us the Maha Mantra and we don't really use it. I mean, we should be really grateful for it and try to chant more. So, so thank you. I mean, these are the two things that, realizations that I have that,
Thank you.
we should, thank you so much, Mataji, for your time and your association. Thank you.
Thank you. Another helpful thing to do is to keep a journal. Actually, Prabhupada wanted us to write every day. So even in a journal, you can write some realizations and things, or write letters. I used to, I haven't done this for some time, but I was one time in a very difficult situation. And so I wrote a letter to Prabhupada with my grief, expressing my anxiety about the situation, not knowing what to do and how to deal with it all. And I would put the letters up on the Vyasa sign. Well, this one letter must have fallen down into the altar. And it was years later, I moved and I found this letter and I read it. And it was so amazing because I could see how Krishna was setting me up in a certain way so I can make advancement in spiritual life. And if we have that faith when these difficult things are happening, we can be a little more grateful that, this is happening, but somehow or another, Krishna's behind this and it's for our benefit. So.
Thank you, Mataji. That was very, very, very helpful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam Mataji. Mataji, so gratitude can help to reduce our false ego also. I mean, if we practice gratitude, so that can help us to reduce the false ego. So is that my conception is okay? I mean, what do you think about it, Mataji?
I think you're right. I think that we have to have some humility to have gratitude. And so if we're in a situation and we're not feeling gratitude, then maybe we need to look at, am I being humble or am I being puffed up? And that's an excellent realization. Thank you.
Thank you much. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice class. When you read about Draupadi, Kunti Devi, Prahlad Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada, what I realized is if there are so many challenges and difficulties, then only gratitude will develop. Or without challenges, like, can you please clarify my doubt? Like, where there are challenges, there only gratitude will come. Without challenges, there is no chance of gratitude like that.
Your sound is a little breaking up. Could you repeat the question again? Don't move your hand, just hold still.
Okay. Are you able to hear Mataji now?
Yeah. I think there's a
Are you
little.
able to hear Mataji? Okay.
So hold still because I think you have.
Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah. I am asking only challenges. If challenges are coming, then only gratitude will develop. Without challenges, there is no gratitude like that.
No, actually, it's the challenges don't create the gratitude. It's a devotional attitude and understanding. Krishna's mercy is what creates the gratitude. You can see a lot of people go through difficult times in the material world, and they're very bitter and very angry. But you have a bitter, angry heart, you can't have gratitude, and you can't grow. But a devotee wants to grow in their devotional service. They want to become pure devotees. So it's part of our process of becoming pure devotees is accepting these challenges and accepting what we need to do in ourselves to become better devotees. So it's the devotional attitude that creates the gratitude. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Mataji, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. The one point that really resonates with me is towards the end of the class when you said that Krishna consciousness really boils down to that, where we make our effort, and then we have the mercy of the whole disciplic succession and everything. Sometimes on a daily basis, what happens is we get so caught up with trying to assess ourselves in our devotional life. We really tend to forget to thank Krishna for helping us through those journeys, right? So at least I am always constantly in this habit of complaining to Krishna. I'm trying to do this, but why is it still like this? Why is it still like this? So sometimes I feel that if Krishna must be so fed up of hearing just the negatives. He's already seeing all the negatives, sitting as the Paramatma, and now to hear that again must be so hard. But today's class has taught me, that maybe it'll be a little easier for him if I kind of little appreciate and thank him for everything he's doing. And like you said, it's only that we have to introspect and look for it. But we don't often count our blessings, and I think that is one really valuable takeaway that I have learned with your explanations. Thank you very much, Mataji. We're very grateful to you for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your realization. And something we should remember is that Krishna likes our struggle. He likes to see how much the devotee tries to serve him and please him. So at a certain, it's not that we're getting anxiety to the point where it disrupts our devotional service, but to have a sense of anxiety to please the Lord is a very pleasing to the Lord in itself. So we should be grateful we have some opportunity like that we're worried that we can actually do something that might be pleasing to the Lord. It's nice to have that mentality. Thank you.
But I think for me, it's more like a complaining mentality, Mataji. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Thank you so much.
Jai. All righty. So is there any other comments or questions, or we can end here then? Thank you all for your association. It's so nice to have this opportunity. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
All glories
Thank
to
you
Srila
so
Prabhupada.
much for coming back
Thank you so much, Mataji.
today and speaking more about gratitude. Definitely based on deep faith, right? Today, especially, it was all about how to be grateful in difficulties. The example of Srila Prabhupada in that horrible place and still feeling positive, feeling grateful, feeling dependent on Krishna, trusting Krishna. This is such a great example for us. And
yeah, this is so true.
We are all grateful to see from the comments of the devotees that you agreed to come back and give us these insights of gratitude. So thank you so much, Agapati, and we're sending you a big hug via the Zoom virtual medium.
Jai.
Thank you so much. All glories to Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jai Vrindavan Dham. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Oh, Tuesday. Yes, please. There is a change for those who are regulars on this. There's a teacher, I think it's Bhakti Rasayana Sagar Maharaj in Bhakti Shastri, who cannot teach on another. Anyway, it's changed. We see you on Tuesday. Okay? Hare Krishna.
हमारा नाम कसं काय?
So the next value class will be on Tuesday, no, Mataji? Yes.